Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brianna. I am a certified personal trainer, a big huge biology nerd, and a registered dietitian to be. On that note, I've seen a couple people on social media tag me and stuff and say that I'm a dietitian. No! While I'm very flattered and I would love to have that title sooner rather than later, I am not a registered dietitian yet. I am still in school, so just to be clear, I'm saying registered dietitian to be. Today we're going to talk about a sensitive but really interesting topic. HAES, fat positivity, and fat acceptance among healthcare professionals. Is it ethical for a healthcare professional to deny the science and evidence that shows a strong link between obesity and chronic disease? What is the purpose of these movements? Stay tuned. By the way, if you enjoy science-based health, wellness, and fitness education with a little bit of lulz along the way, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. All right, without further ado, let's get started. If you've been on social media for any stretch of time over the last few years, you've probably seen a lot of Instagram posts with hashtags such as body positivity, fat acceptance, fat positivity, or HAES, which is an acronym for health at every size. These movements started with deep roots in social justice and the pursuit of fair treatment and equality for people born with birth defects, or maybe people who have experienced an accident or a traumatic event that has left their body permanently changed in a way that's not seen as conventionally attractive. Over the years, however, these movements have kind of morphed more in the support of people in larger bodies. Enter fat acceptance, body positivity, fat positivity, and HAES. Really quick, I just want it to be known that for the majority of this video, I'm going to be using the word fat because based on my research and interactions, most people who are proponents of these movements prefer the word fat to obese or morbidly obese. Also, fat is less tedious to say. So I'm not trying to be insulting. I'm not trying to use it in a derogatory way. From what I understand, they want to reclaim the word fat and give it, remove the negative stigma from it. So I'm gonna use the word fat. So let's first talk about obesity and some statistics here in the United States about it. Obesity is defined as having a BMI, body mass index, over 30. Severe obesity is defined as having a BMI over 40. Your body mass index, or your BMI, is calculated by dividing your weight in kilograms by your height in meters squared. Now, I know there is going to be at least one person in the comments, because there always is, that says BMI isn't reliable or BMI is stupid. I have even learned in school as a dietetic student, as a biology student, and in my training to become a certified personal trainer as a fitness professional, it is true. BMI is not always reliable because it does not take into account body composition. It's widely known and accepted that the exceptions to BMI are pretty much people like athletes and bodybuilders. The reason for this is because a professional bodybuilder is going to weigh heavier on the scale because they have a lot more lean body mass than the average person, and their BMI might say, based on the chart, their BMI might say that they're overweight or even obese depending on how heavy they are, even though their body fat percentage is in a lower range, like in a more athletic range, like maybe between, I don't know, 15 or 20% for athletes. However, the average American does not have the body of a professional bodybuilder or an athlete. In fact, based on statistics released by the CDC in 2015 and 2016, over 70% of Americans are overweight, and of that portion, over 40% are obese. That fact, combined with the fact that only 1 in 3 adults in the United States get the recommended amount of physical activity, should tell us that the average person walking into a bariatric surgery clinic to get information about weight loss surgery is probably not a bodybuilder. So that little bit is just for those of you who are gonna jump in the comments and kind of try and read me for using BMI as a calculation. That's just what we're going with, and that's my reasoning for it. Based on 2017 to 2018 data, 42.4% of adults in the United States are obese. Racially, the most obese groups are African Americans. Now, among male and female African Americans, after age is adjusted, the most obese group is women. Between 1999 and 2000 and 2017 and 2018, the prevalence of obesity and morbid obesity has increased and continues to increase even now. Based on scientific facts, studies, and evidence, it is known that obesity is strongly linked to chronic diseases such as type 2 diabetes mellitus and coronary heart disease. Obesity is a multidimensional issue with root triggers that can be anything from genetics to behavioral to even socioeconomic factors. So based on all these facts and statistics, a lot of you might be sitting here wondering, why would anyone question that obesity leads to reduced quality of life and poor health outcomes? I'm with you. The evidence is clear cut and it's right there for all of us to see, yet there are many people out there and healthcare professionals that often refute these facts and even try to disprove them. Why? Enter movements like fat acceptance, fat positivity, and HAES. As I mentioned before, all of these movements have deep roots in social justice, the pursuit of fair treatment across the board for people in larger bodies. While this is a just and worthy cause, these movements, in my opinion, have morphed into becoming dangerously misleading. The reason I use the word dangerous is because many proponents of these movements refute the facts and statistics that are presented to them about obesity and the health consequences that come with it. I'm now seeing healthcare professionals and fitness professionals such as myself being called fat phobic for practicing based on this evidence. Sidebar, really quick. I want to tackle the word fat phobic. A phobia is defined as an extreme or irrational fear of or aversion to something. I don't have any rational fear or aversion to fat people. They don't scare me. Yet, because of my line of work as a personal trainer, I have been called fat phobic for helping people lose weight. According to social media, I'm fat phobic because I ask for a smaller slice of cake if I go to a party. I'm fat phobic because I own a scale and step on it every now and then just to, see what's going on in the weight department. I don't have any desire to be fat, but I'm not fat phobic. I don't want to be white, but it's not because I have a phobia of white people. It's because I'm happy being black. I personally find it unfair to call someone fat phobic just because they're like, yeah, it's not really in my life goals to be fat, or just because, they keep up with their weight and do things to manage their weight, especially if there's somebody that's struggled with their weight in the past. I don't find it fair to call someone fat phobic just for that reason. Okay, let's move on. Sonali Rochatoire, I really hope I'm not butchering that, aka known on Instagram as the Fat Sex Therapist. She's a licensed mental health professional and her work includes sex therapy and social work. Her specialties include treating sexual trauma and body image issues, all while offering fat and body positive sexual health care. I'm actually familiar with her because she's floated across my feed before in YouTube videos of people that I regularly watch, such as Michelle McDaniel of My Thoughts Will Probably Offend You. I've noticed she kind of says a lot of things that are out there, and it's often kind of tough to find evidence to back up what she says because I've tried to look before. So I thought we could sit here and take a look at some of her Instagram posts and I guess talk about them a little bit. The desire to eradicate the existence of fat bodies can also be called eugenics. Caption reads, first of all, when you read the word eugenics, your face should look like this, because that entire field of study is horrifying. This idea comes from disability justice. Google is your friend. Sometimes my fat disables me, and that's okay. Disability justice teaches me it's okay to have limits to what my body can do, and all bodies deserve unconditional humanity and respect always. Disability justice teaches me that my body doesn't have to be productive in the capitalist sense in order to have worth or value and be deserving of humanity. All bodies are good bodies. That idea comes from disabled people. Please God, if you're not disabled yet, stop saying differently able. Disabled isn't a bad word. Who spearhead disability justice. But when some people believe that certain bodies shouldn't exist, this idea falls into the horrific anti-black, anti-native, ableist, classist, transphobic, queerphobic, casteist, misogynist field of eugenics. Eugenics is a study of ways we can improve the human race by eliminating certain characteristics from the herd. Some famous eugenicists include Teddy Roosevelt, Hitler, Helen Keller, and other genocidal murderers like Winston Churchill, Cecil Rhodes, King Leopold, Christopher Columbus, and Nazis. Scientists were even on board with creating studies to support the notion that certain bodies shouldn't exist. This is the same fake science that measured skull sizes and said black people were less intelligent. Obviously not true. Is this starting to sound familiar regarding the mainstream conversation around the, quote, obesity epidemic, unquote, and fat-phobic weight science? Much of the weight science that currently exists supports the complete eradication and prevention of fat bodies. This is no different from propaganda that says poor people or single women shouldn't have children, or that disabled people, should be sterilized, or that gay children should attend conversion therapy, or the constant murders of black trans women In the US, these are blatant forms of eugenics. Eugenics sells lies. Eugenics is colonial legacy. If we are for fat people and all marginalized people, then we are not for eugenics. Okay, let's look at another one. Fat-phobic microaggressions are forms of overt and covert fat phobia. Microaggression can be a brief or commonplace, read normalized, daily verbal, behavioral, or environmental indignity, whether intentional or unintentional, that communicates hostile, derogatory, or negative, prejudicial, slight, and insults toward culturally marginalized groups. Any structure of oppression is upheld by these microaggressions. So in this case, fat phobia as a form of systemic structural oppression is maintained anytime the examples below happen. So let's talk examples of fat phobic microaggressions. Feel free to add yours in the comments below. All right. Assuming I want to order diet soda, assuming I have, quote, fat diseases, unquote, like diabetes, high blood pressure, sleep apnea, without looking at my health stats. Assuming I have low self-esteem or a bad body image because I'm super fat. Assuming I want to lose weight. Organizing a conference space / waiting room using chairs with arms. Ordering t-shirts for your organization only up to size 2XL. Not posting public pics with your fat friends or cutting most of their body out of the photo. Having none or only one fat friend. Only dating non-fat people. Saying no fats on your dating profile. Do people do that? That's kind of rude. Not having sturdy chairs at public events. Not making eye contact with fat people. This applies when you make eye contact with thin people just fine. Being surprised when your fat patients have healthy range blood pressure. Lining up a row of chairs to seat without leaving space for fat elbow room. Only creating art using thin models. Only photographing thin people. Only representing thin bodies in your art. Add more below. Okay, I feel like some of these really contradict each other. You can drop a comment below and let me know. One of the examples of fat-phobic microaggression is organizing a conference space / waiting room using chairs with arms. So I guess maybe that's fat-phobic because I'm assuming that fat people want to rest their arms because they're so tired. But then in the next one, she says, ordering t-shirts for your organization only up to size 2XL. And she uses the word only. It sounds like it's fat phobic because they're not catering to people larger than 2XL. But then what if they order t-shirts that were like up to like 5XL? But then would she call that fat phobic? Okay, let's look at another one. The non-medical fear of overeating is fat phobia. Caption reads, this quote by @Jesse Haggard sums this idea up pretty easily. Isn't it interesting how we pathologize stress eating but not stress skipping meals? If there is no medical reason for you to be worried about overeating, then really ask yourself why you're worried. Fear of gaining weight is fat phobia. I'd also challenge the term overeating because our bodies will actually stop eating at a certain point, even if we eat beyond the point of comfort. And even the discomfort is also temporary. So why the pathology? I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with blatblobia. I'd ask nicely if people would stop calling me fat phobic because I don't want to gain weight. Something that I have learned in school, I think I learned this in a class called Nutrition Through the Life Cycle. Babies and children, like toddlers, I can't remember like the age cutoff, but young children have this incredible ability to kind of self-regulate their own energy needs. And I learned that like when parents kind of do something, please don't attack me because I don't have kids. I'm just telling you what I learned. I know there's probably gonna be somebody in the comments that's like, you don't even have kids, you don't know. I'm just telling you what I learned. So whenever parents kind of do the thing to their kids when they're like, you can't leave the table until you finish all your food, that interrupts your child's natural mechanism to be able to regulate, like self-regulate their own energy intake. Kids are actually really good at stopping when they're full and saying, I don't want any more food. Like they're good at knowing when they don't want any more food. However, we tend to lose that mechanism the older we get. You know, that's why you don't see like a whole bunch of like obese toddlers, because they're good at like telling themselves how much they want to eat. So anyway, I just thought, you know, that was interesting. And also she says, our bodies will stop eating at a certain point, even if we eat beyond the point of comfort. I don't know why you would want to eat past full, because that's just uncomfortable. And also there's people who have like binge eating disorder. Those people eat and eat and eat to the point that they are so far past comfort, and you know, it's just not healthy. It's not. So the next healthcare professional we're going to talk about is another psychologist. Her name is Dr. Rachel Milner. She's a psychologist, a certified eating disorder specialist and supervisor, and a certified body trust provider. I didn't know what body trust meant, so I looked it up, and really quick, from BeNourished.org, body trust is a radical revisioning of what it means to occupy and care for your body. It is a pathway to acceptance of the body, an alternative dialogue to the conventional paradigm of food, body image, and weight concerns in our culture. Body trust is a paradigm-shifting work that invites bravery and fierce body compassion. Her work is, quote, trauma-informed, fat-positive, anti-diet, and rooted in feminist theory, relational theory, social justice, and body liberation, end quote. I've read about her on her website, and unfortunately she is somebody who spent a lot of time being dieted as a kid, and there was a lot of preoccupation with what she was eating and her body size, and that unfortunately led her down the path of developing various eating disorders. Let's take a look at her Instagram. There is no difference between prescribing weight loss and prescribing an eating disorder. Caption reads, when you prescribe weight loss / dieting, you are putting people at risk of an eating disorder. We don't have a way of knowing who will develop an eating disorder as a result of dieting and who won't. What we do know is that dieting / pursuing weight loss is harmful even if it never turns into an eating disorder, and that eating disorders are life-threatening illnesses if it doesn't turn into one. Stop prescribing weight loss, stop prescribing eating disorders, stop causing harm. Despite what your eating disorder tries to tell you, we do not have control over the size or shape of our bodies. Eating disorders like to try and convince us that if we just follow its rules, we can control the size of our bodies. The truth is we don't have control over the size of our bodies. When we are in the midst of the eating disorder, our bodies may be different than the size they were meant to be, but ultimately the size and shape of our bodies is not something we have control over. Trust your body to figure it out, not the eating disorder. Okay, I noticed she's using the word eating disorder. I think she is using the word eating disorder to mean like dieting. I don't think that's very fair. I guess I've technically dieted. I don't know, I don't like to call it a diet, because when I hear the word diet, to me it implies an end point. And you know, it's not a diet, it's not temporary. I cut my calories a little bit to shed some weight, and I don't think I have an eating disorder. Let's read another one. Even if a health condition was directly caused by body size, it's not. The treatment would still not be attempting weight loss. Pursuing weight loss is never the answer. Caption reads, no matter the problem, no matter the cause, no matter the solution, weight loss is never the answer. Weight loss is never the answer. We live in a fat-phobic world that makes weight gain hard. Trust your body, let it grow. Caption reads, your body isn't wrong, the culture is. Let your body grow. Your life will grow too. I do not follow her, but I saw this post and commented on it asking a legitimate and genuine question. My comment reads, weight gain is actually incredibly easy because of the obesogenic environment we live in. There's junk food at every turn in the grocery store, and fast food restaurants are highly accessible and cheap. Serious questions. Do you actually encourage your patients to become overweight if they're not upon meeting you? I meant to write upon meeting you. Do you actually instruct them to gorge themselves on food? I'm genuinely curious about the motives of a quote fat positive unquote mental health professional. Thanks. And then somebody was like, I share the same curiosities as yourself. I'm surprised I got any likes at all, to be honest. You know, the tough thing about online is you kind of sound like a passive aggressive bitch. I wasn't being a passive aggressive bitch. I was just being a regular bitch. No, I'm just kidding. It was a genuine question, and unsurprisingly, she never responded to it. And that wasn't an old post. It says 7 weeks ago on here, but I posted that like the day after she shared that because I was genuinely curious. Because like the tone of that post is like, weight gain is so hard. Like, well, why does it matter if weight gain's hard? Like, do you want people to gain weight? You know, she's fat positive, so I don't know. I was genuinely curious and I never got an answer to my question. I find that it's difficult to talk to people within this movement. You know, like as soon as you say something like, hey, well, obesity is one of the leading causes of chronic diseases, they're like, you're fat phobic, you know? So like, it's, even if you come at them with some tact, and even if you're not even being rude, like I feel like it's like the conversation kind of always turns into a combative thing. And you know, I don't understand why. You know, weight is so, for some reason people don't like talking about weight. Like weight is just such a sensitive topic for women especially, I've noticed. Anyway, let's read another one. You cannot be exercising to lose weight and have a healthy relationship with movement. Caption says, navigating movement is complicated in a world that holds up exercise as something that should be done no matter what. This is even more complicated in ED, eating disorder, recovery. The truth is you have no obligation or moral imperative to exercise or engage in movement. You are not better or more worthy if you exercise than if you don't. But if you are trying to explore your relationship with movement, remember that if the purpose or intention of your movement is to lose weight or prevent weight gain, your relationship with movement is unhealthy. Okay. I was gonna go to the gym after I filmed this. This is awkward. Okay, last one I want to read. Higher weight and risk of / with COVID-19 have nothing to do with one another, and anyone who tells you otherwise is fat phobic AF. Caption reads, full stop with this bullshit. I wonder if that's a typo. That doesn't really make sense. Unless you live under a rock, you are fully aware of the SARS coronavirus, you know, running rampant in the world right now. And the CDC and other organizations have been releasing a lot of new information, like on a daily, gosh, it seems like on a minute basis they're putting out some new information. Honestly, it's hard to keep up. But in the last over the last couple months, they've released some information about COVID, and it seems like people with underlying chronic diseases such as type 2 diabetes and obesity are at a higher risk for dying due to complications of COVID-19. That's not my opinion. That's something that is released by the CDC. So I don't know. I guess the CDC is fat phobic for saying that.